Assalamu alaikum. My name is Iman Salim. I am from Department of BS Biotechnology. My presentation topic is chelator for diagnostic molecular imaging with radioisotopes of copper, gallium, and zirconium. First of all, I will tell you the metal toxicity I will give you some introduction about metal toxicity. Metal toxicity is a generic name for all the diseases that arise due to toxicity caused by different metals. These metals are mostly inhaled as vapors or consumed through contaminated food or drinks. Next is toxic metals. What are toxic metals? Toxic metals are metals that form poisonous soluble compounds and have no biological role. Toxic metals comprise a group of minerals that have no known function in the body and in fact are harmful. Today, mankind is exposed to the highest level of these metals in recorded history. This is due to this is due to their industrial use, the unrestricted burning of coal, natural gas, petroleum, and incineration of waste materials worldwide. Toxic metals sometimes imitate the action of an essential element in the body, interfering with the metabolic processes to cause illness. Toxicity is a function of solubility. Insoluble compounds, as well as the metallic forms, often exhibit negligible toxicity. The toxicity of any metal depends on its ligand. In some cases, organometallic forms such as methyl mercury and tetraethyllead can be extremely toxic. Decontamination for toxic metals is different from organic toxins because toxic metals are elements they cannot be destroyed. Toxic metals may be made insoluble or collected possibly by the aid of chelating agents or through bioremediation. Next point is essential and non-essential metals. Essential metals for humans like iron and copper, as well as by non-essential metal like cadmium, lead, and mercury, which are not all necessary for life, but which, when introduced into the human environment, can have toxic effects, often with disaster consequences. First is essential metal. There are 10 essential metal ions for humans. Bulk elements, sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are known as bulk elements. Trace elements. Five transition metals, which include manganese, iron, cobalt, copper, zinc, and molybdenum, are known as trace elements. Next point is toxicity due to essential metals. Biologically essential metals show toxicity beyond a permissible concentration. Further, it has also been evaluated that oxidation state of different elements is more toxic than the other oxidation states. It can also be observed that although many metals have tremendous industrial importance, yet the use of these metals is causing an increase in their concentrations in environment, and that is proven to be toxic to human beings. The role of different oxidation states of transition metals that are essential for various biofunctions and their toxicity causing effects to human beings has also been established. Nutritional deficiencies. Nutritional deficiencies of certain essential elements that influence the blood concentration of some toxic metals. Similarly, relation of certain essential elements to neurotoxicity has also been ascertained. The present study can be used for further correlating the concentrations of various elements and their effects on our ecosystem. Next point is non-essential metals. Non-essential metals come from complex issues like atmospheric pollution from fossil fuels combustion. Major sources of non-essential and heavy metal is the mining and smelting of metals and electrical power generation, forming acid mine drainage (AMD). Non-essential elements include mercury, lead, cadmium, nickel, aluminium. Toxicity due to non-essential metals. Toxicity due to non-essential metals, human activities such as mining, manufacturing, and fossil fuel burning has resulted in the accumulation of lead and its compounds in the environment, including air, water, and soil. Lead is highly toxic and hence its use in various products such as paints, gasoline, etc. has been considerably reduced nowadays. The main sources of lead exposure are lead-based paints, gasoline, cosmetics, toys, household dust, contaminated the soil, industrial emission. Lead poisoning was a classic disease, and the signs that were seen in children and adults were mainly pertaining to the central nervous system and the gastrointestinal tract. Lead poisoning. Lead poisoning can also occur from drinking water. Toxicity of lead, also called lead poisoning, can be either acute or chronic. Mercury poisoning. Mercury poisoning is referred to as acrodynia or pink disease. Mercury is released into the environment by the activities of various industries, such as pharmaceuticals, paper and pulp, preservatives, agriculture industries, and chlorine and caustic soda production industries. Mercury has the ability to combine with other elements and form organic and inorganic mercury. Exposure to elevated levels of metallic, organic, and inorganic metals can damage the brain, kidneys, and the developing fetus. Cadmium. Cadmium can cause both acute and chronic intoxications. Cadmium is highly toxic to the kidney and it accumulates in the proximal tubular cells in higher concentration. Cadmium can cause bone mineralization either through bone damage or by renal dysfunction. By concluding the topic of metal toxicity, I will discuss the conclusion. The importance of metal toxicity involving both essential and non-essential metal ions. It is clear that excessive accumulation of either of these metal ions can result in a variety of toxic effects. Such elucidating agents should fulfill the following criteria. It displays a degree of selectivity towards the metal ions that they are intending to remove. For example, Fe3 positive can be chelated selectively relatively easily from other essential transition metal ions. It accesses potential sites where chelation is desired. It causes minimal, if possible, zero interference with the essential biological importance matter ions and the metabolic processes in which they are evolved. It could be excreted from the cellular site of chelation and subsequently eliminated from the body without causing when and from the body without causing toxic effects include, for example, nephrotoxicity. And the main topic of my presentation is chilators for diagnostic molecular imaging with radioisotopes of copper, gallium, and zirconium. Many metallic radionuclide are useful in nuclear medicine for imaging by gamma camera scintigraphy, single photon emission computing tomography, and positron emission tomography. Has since it provides physiological data relating to disease, pathophysiology, receptor expression levels, enzyme activity, and cellular metabolism non-invasively and quantitatively. Radionuclide decays, it injects a positron from its nucleus, which after traveling a short distance undergoes a process which is called annihilation. With an electron to release two 511 kilo electron volt gamma rays 180 degrees apart. These coincident gamma rays have sufficient energy to escape the organism and can be detected by the PET scanner. Next is the radionuclide therapy of cancer. Their diversity in chemical and decay properties and their applications copper 64, gallium 68, zirconium 89. These are all radiometallic isotopes utilized in nuclear for diagnostic PET imaging. Although 64 is also considered to have potential application in targeted radionuclear therapy. However, the introduction of zirconium 89 more than 3 decades ago has reinvigorated this rapidly expanding area of research known as immuno-PET. Its impact on antibody and nanoparticle development and clinical trials and precision medicine strategies has been reviewed extensively. Next point is positron emission tomography and MRI with peptides and proteins. The definition of PET, positron emission tomography. PET is a whole body diagnostic Three-dimensional imaging modality using nuclear medicine that detects positron emission arising from the decay of unstable radioisotopes. Next is definition of molecular imaging. Molecular imaging is defined as in vivo visualization, characterization, and measurement of biological processes at the molecular and cellular level, which played an important role in diagnosing and monitoring diseases. Explanation PET is not a highly resolved technique depending on the energy of the emitted positron and the density of tissues. A positron will travel some distance up to a few millimeters while losing energy prior to the annihilation event. The higher the energy of the positron, the further it will travel. Conversely, the distance traversed by a positron decreases with increased density of tissues. Modern PET scanners include X-ray computed tomography CT scanners so that a PET image of a paint can be co-registered with a CT image. The CT image with vastly superior resolution of anatomical features provides an anatomical map and in the case of solid tumors can provide more accurate information on tumor volume. Cancer cells or next point is cancer cells. Cancer cells or other disease cells can characterized by metabolic and molecular peculiarities. These include increased glucose utilization, hypoxia, antigen production, or expression of particular receptors on their cell surfaces that are involved in mediating cell proliferation or other events associated with disease progression. Biofunctional chelating agents for such applications seem based on the stability of the metal complex. The consequences of loss or dissociation of the radionuclide are associated with toxicity in the nucleus of therapeutics and poor image qualities for diagnostics. Next is fundamental coordination chemistry criteria. Fundamental coordination chemistry criteria is such as charge matching cavity size of the chelating agent with the ionic radius of the radionuclide, providing the appropriate chelation density or number of donor binding groups, providing the donor binding groups of appropriate chemical factor or all key elements. Next point is reactive functional group for attachment to biomolecule. Conjugated chemistry must have scope for biofunctional chelators to be useful in radiopharmaceuticals. Peptides and proteins are polymers linked by amide groups. Amide bond formation. Amide bond formation is covalently attach a bifunctional chelator to a biomolecule. Isothiocyanates have anti-cancer properties at the concentrations found in foods. Some isothiocyanates are also used industrially and in agriculture to control pests and disease. Melimides allow conjugation of a chelator via reduced cysteine side chain or other thiol functionality, providing an alternative site-specific means of attachment. Reactions of azides and alkynes to form triazoles have proved useful in decorating biomolecules with chelators. Next point is requirements for chelators that complex positron emitting metal radioisotopes. 64 copper, 68 gallium, and 18 zirconium 89 are positron emitting metallic isotopes with decay properties suitable for PET imaging. The complexation reaction must be efficient for several reactions. The radium metal concentration in solution is very low and falls with the nanomolecular range. Next point is it is desirable for the chelator biomolecule conjugate or biconjugate to be present in low amounts. It is difficult to separate out unreacted bioconjugate from radio-labeled bioconjugate. For short-lived isotopes like gallium-68, half-life 68 minutes, fast reaction kinetics are essential. In the case of longer-lived isotopes, 64 Cu64 is 12.7 hours and zirconium 89 78 hours, where there is ample time for a reaction that takes 1 to 2 hours. It is preferable that reactions are fast. Next is the clinical utility and adaptability of radiosynthetic protocols for radiopharmaceutical productions and formulation depends on the reaction conditions, pH, solvent, and temperature. The kinetics of formation of a metal ligand complex, the radiochemical yield, and whether or not purification procedures are required to remove unwanted byproducts, reagents, organic solvents, or unreacted radiometals. Macrocyclic chelators for copper-64 kinetic stability. Copper-64 is a positron emitting isotope with a half-life of 12.7 hours and is suitable for PET imaging. Using molecular imaging agents based on both peptides and proteins, the radionuclide also emits beta particles and auger electrons is potentially useful as a radiotherapeutic. Next point is open chain or acyclic chelators. Open chain or acyclic chelators are important for future innovations in molecular imaging, particularly for gallium-68. Macrocycles have dominated the landscape of bifunctional chelator chemistry for copper radioisotopes. Next is non-cyclic chelators. Non-cyclic chelators of copper Cu2 positive, even multidentate ones with very high association constants have invariably been found to be too kinetically labile and hence vulnerable to ligand dissociation and exchange to be useful as bifunctional chelators for biomolecule labeling. Complexes of microcycles. Complexes of microcycles typically demonstrate both high thermodynamic stability and a high degree of kinetic inertness to substitution in many cases compared to analogous open chain or acyclic chelator. This macrocyclic effect is an example of the chelate effect. Cu2 positive can be reduced to Cu positive because Cu positive D10 metal ion has different coordination preferences to Cu2 positive and is even less inert to ligand exchange. It is important that reduction potentials are sufficiently low to prevent reduction in the potentially reducing intracellular environment as reduction would be led to faster dissociation and transchelation. Next point is Cu complexes of microcycles, radiolabeling, and in vivo stability. Early studies using microcycles for Cu64 coordination investigated cyclane, cyclum, theta, and DOTA 1 to 4, firstly for the ability to complex reduce pharmaceutical concentrations of 64 Cu2 positive quantitatively, and secondly for the ability to retain coordinated 64 Cu2 positive in vivo. Radio labeling. Radio labeling yields for peptide conjugates of theta were markedly superior to yields for cyclone 22 theta derivatives were labeled in 95% radiochemical yield after 1 hour, while after 12 hours only 85% of Cu64 Cu2 positive was bound to cyclone derivatives. Animal studies. Animal studies demonstrated that 64 Cu2 positive complexes of the tetraazam macrocycles, cyclum cyclin, and their conjugates exhibited significantly higher liver and kidney activities relative to their theta acetate derivatives, theta and DOTA. These are the structures of cyclane, cyclum 2, DOTA 3, theta 4, and PSCN BN DOTA 5. However, despite their advantage over cyclam and cyclane, neither DOTA nor theta are ideal. Chelator for 64 Cu2 positives, while theta conjugates can be radiolabeled quantitatively within an hour at room temperature. Both small animal and patient studies of Cu2 positive radiolabeled theta peptide and antibody conjugates demonstrate significant accumulation of activity in the liver, which is believed to be indicative of dissociation of Cu2 positive radionuclides from the conjugate in vivo. Proteins such as superoxide dismutase 23, 24, metallothionein 25, and ceruloplasmin 26 that possesses Cu2 positive. Binding sites can coordinate associated 64cu2 positive, and early studies using animals administered a 64cu labeled tetrapeptide conjugate demonstrated that 64cu2 positive bound superoxide dismutase is formed in the liver. The solid phase structures of Cu2 positive complexes of cyclin 31, theta 32, and DOTA 33, as determined by X-ray crystallography, are used for comparative purpose. In the Cu cyclin positive complex, the coordination sphere is not saturated by the cyclin ligand. The axial perchlorates counter ion coordinate by weakly and would not be expected to remain coordinated in solution. Cu2 positive complexes of either daughter or theta adopt distorted octahedral geometry with typical John-Taylor effects, although these are not used as they are for other Cu2 positive complexes because of the strict constraints of cyclic ligands. From left to right, representation of the molecular structures of Cu cyclin CLO axial percolorate counterions. Um, this is the structure of Cu cyclin ClO4 231. This is the structure. The B figure shows the structure of CuH2 theta 32, and the C structure shows the structure of Cu DOTA 233 as determined by crystallography. Orange, copper, blue, nitrogen, gray, carbon, red, oxygen, green, right? These diagrams and other contained here in generated in Mercury software. Next point is nota and saccharophagine derivatives, the state of the art in biofunctional chelators for 64Cu. Acetate, phosphonate, pyridyl picolinate, and hydroxamate derivatives of tri as a cycloninane taken 14, nota 15, trap 18 respectively have also been utilized as bifunctional chelators for copper 64. Stability. Stability studies and in vitro experiments indicate that 64Cu2 positive complex of nota are stable in vivo with respect to dissociation of 64Cu positive in comparative studies with DOTA conjugates. Nota derivatives with respect to dissociation of 64 Cu2 positive in comparative studies with DOTA conjugates attributed to greater complex stability. Bifunctional derivatives on NOTA demonstrate the desirable combination of high radiolabeling efficiencies at very low concentration of ligand under mild conditions, 1952, and high in vivo stabilities. This is the structure of Tecan 14, NOTA 15, Nodega 16, and PSEN BN DOTA 17. Targeting biomolecules can be attached to NOTA via one of its pendant acetate groups, providing a conjugate with two carboxylate and three amine donors, resulting in a neutral complex. Functionality can be introduced in a fashion, for example, via fourth pendant carboxylate group in Nodega 1653 or via a pendant isothiocyanate in SCN-BN Nota 1754 that preserve the coordination sphere of the parent chelator, Nota resulting in a Cu positive complex with a single negative charge. You can see the PET image of mice with subcutaneous A431cc KR2 tumors. PET-CT image of mice with subcutaneous A431cc tumors 4 hours after injection of 64Cu labeled. DOTA PP511, B structure is NOTA PP511, and C structure is Nodega PP511. Radiotracers uptake is clearly visible in the CCK2R tumors. Scale 1 to 12%, significantly decreased liver uptake is evident for Nodega PP511 compared to the other tracers. Next point is clinical applications of copper 64. Clinical molecular PET imaging applications using 64 to copper 64 were expected to be based on following: its relatively long half-life, allowing imaging with antibody conjugates and radio-labeled cells. Its ability to be simply incorporated into later peptide conjugates for imaging peptide receptor expression. However, zirconium-89 and gallium respectively are likely to supersede 64 copper for these purposes, and the future of copper 64 remains unclear. Zirconium-89 possesses an even longer half-life than 64 copper, allowing for antibody and cell tracking using PET up to 2 weeks post-administration of radiopharmaceutical, and the advent of the commercially available gallium generator has provided an economical, accessible source of a metallic PET isotope for peptide receptor expressing imaging. Cu-64 emits beta particles and auger electrons, thus is potentially useful as a clinical radiotherapeutic. Copper complexes of ligands particularly have been clinically tested for hypoxia imaging in oncology, including lung, brain, colorectal, and cervical cancers and neurological degenerative disorder. These radio tracers have demonstrated that Cu uptake can predict poor patient prognosis associated with hypoxia. The complexity of interpretation of Cu imaging will depend not only on hypoxia but on image acquisition time, and likely copper transport mechanism makes less attractive for this application. Next is acyclic and microcyclic chelators for gallium-68. Gallium-68 in the clinic, its currently utility and future potential. The short half-life of gallium is 68 minutes, and positron emission properties of gallium make it ideal for molecular imaging of peptide receptor expression, as peptide-based molecular imaging agents can clear circulation rapidly and accumulation at target tissues with 1 to 2 hours. Gallium is available from the GE68 and GA68 generator and is usually evaluated from the generator in aqueous 0.1 to 0.4 molar ACR solution. After elution, it can be processed to pre-concentrate 68 gallium and remove any contaminating adventitious metal ions such as gallium 64, technetium 6 positive, 4 positive, and zinc 2 positive can be used directly. A buffering or neutralizing agent is added to increase pH, enabling reaction to occur. The parent isotope germanium 68 has a half-life of 271 days, and as such the germanium 68 and gallium 68 generator provides a stable source of gallium 68 in hospital, with generators typically possessing a usable lifetime of 6 to 12 months. This accessibility has led to rapid adoption of gallium in clinical PET centers with the radiopharmaceutical gallium-68 97 for neuroendocrine tumor imaging, and gallium HB A90 for prostate cancer imaging used on a daily basis. Legends 25 and 26. You can see clearly in this structure that gallium 68 PET scan of middle-aged woman with widespread metastasis expressing somatostatin 2 receptors, the dead bind dotatate peptide. The patient subsequently underwent peptide receptors radionuclide therapy. Additionally, gallium is a PET isotope. Its radiopharmaceutical use has so far been confirmed to pre-existing hospital PET centers that are typically well equipped to undertake complex radiopharmaceutical radiochemical synthesis. Next point is halfway between microcycle and open chain chelators. The parent triamine compound is a constitutional isomer of taken, the microcyclic triamine from which nota is derived, with the two amines in a seven-member ring and the third appended to the ring. Functionalization of the primary amine with an additional carboxylate groups result in the azatate compound, and the azatate derivative represent a class of ligands intermediate between microcycles and acyclic ligands. Now you can see clearly in this picture that ester 27 structure formation of ester 27 and the structures of data P, data M29, data PPA 30 and data PH 31. Next point is pre-organization. Pre-organization of a conformer via such chemical modification can assist reactivity of such chelator with gallium 68 3 positive incorporation of 6-phenyl subsequent in data PPA 30 and data PA 31 favors a conformation in which the 6 amino group is axial because now the 6-phenyl group is the bulkiest subsequent in the ring and for steric reasons. Prefers being in the equatorial posit, each data chelator is labeled with 68 gallium at concentration of 5 micromolar in less than 95% radiochemical yield after 5 minutes reaction time at ambient temperature at pH 5 and the chelator or data PPA 30 can be radio labeled in less than 95% radiochemical yield at 5 and pH 7 in 10 minutes at ambient temperature. Next point is siderophores for coordination of gallium-68. Siderophores are low molecular mass molecules that have high specificity for chelating or binding iron. Siderophores are produced by many organisms, including bacteria, yeast, fungi, to obtain iron from the environment. Siderophore complexes of Fe3 positive have extraordinarily high stability constant and have been used for coordination of gallium 67 and gallium 68. The acyclic siderophores, disparity of the amine DF37 possesses three hydroxamate groups and complexes in an O6 environment. Antibodies for conjugates radio labeled with 67 via DF biofunctional chelator do not demonstrate good stability of the chelate complex either in vitro or in vivo. However, alternatively, microcycle siderophores containing three hydroxamate groups have been used to complex gallium, and notably ferrioxamine Fe3, FeXe38, and triacetyl fusarine TFS39. And the resulting radio tracers can be used as feed tracers for fungal aspergillus fumigatus in vivo infections, a significant cause of death in immunocompromised patients that often goes undetected. Yeah, this is the structure of DFO37, FOXE30A, and this is the structure of TAFCR is equals to COCH239. Radio tracers based on FSC can be prepared under favorable mild radio labeling conditions as an FSC conjugate bearing three targeting peptides angiogenesis marker in tumor can be radio labeled with gallium at room temperature at pH 4 to 5 using less than 1 nanomole of conjugate. Chelator. Now, next point is chelator design and clinical impact of gallium. The enormous impact of gallium 68 dotatate and gallium 68 HPEDPS on patient management combined with available generator technology portends that the gallium will have a significantly greater role in clinical nuclear medicine than 64 Cu and indeed may enter routine use a similar footing as 99 MTC. For inorganic chemistry, the ligand design challenges for gallium differ from those of for the 64 copper chelator capable of rapid quantitative coordination of 68 gallium 3 positive at low ligand concentration to ensure that radiosynthesis are simple to undertake in a hospital environment, thus providing clinical benefits of the 68 gallium generator technology to the widest patient base. Next is development of chelator for zirconium 89. Zirconium-89 has a half-life of 78 hours, 6 times longer than that of copper-64, and decay properties that render it suitable for PET imaging. Antibodies typically require at least 24 hours to clear circulation and accumulate at target receptors in vivo sufficiently for useful images to be obtained. Due to the relatively slow pharmacokinetics of antibodies, the half-life of the radioisotope, and the stability of the radioisotope attachment are key factors for the development of immuno-PET imaging agents. The zirconium-89 is an excellent candidate to be the immuno-PET radionuclide TVT case with a half-life of 78.41 hours. The DFO acyclic structure is the most common chelator used to bind zirconium-89 for image applications. Next point is clinical interest. Clinical interest in long-lived PET isotope is relatively recent. This is largely due to the expansion of PET facilities, the increased clinical utility of antibodies for immunotherapy, and the wider commercial availability of zirconium-89. The gamma-emitting isotope, in which with a half-life of 67 hours, has been of clinical importance over the past few decades for whole body diagnostic molecular imaging of biodistribution of biomolecules, including antibodies using either two-dimensional planar scintigraphy or three-dimensional SPECT scans. This figure explains that PET scans of zirconium-89 DF4 trastuzumab uptake 5 days after injection. Figure a patient with liver and bone metastasis, and B and C with two patients with multiple bone metastasis. Next point is hexadenate chelator for zirconium-89. Radiochemical solutions of zirconium-89 are usually provided in aqueous oxalic acid solution, where zirconium-89 is complexed by oxalate anions to give the 8-coordinate complex zirconium-89 oxalate 4. All radiochemistry to date there has utilized zirconium in oxidation state 4 positive. The relatively high charge density means that zirconium 4 is a relatively hard metal ion with preferences for negatively charged oxygen ligands. Radiolabeling of DFO antibody conjugate generally involves incubating the immunoconjugate with solutions of zirconium-80 for the negative at pH 6 to 7 for 20 to 60 minutes. Depending on radiochemical yield, the radiolabeled conjugates can be used without purification or unreacted. The zirconium is removed using disposable size exclusion columns. Ligand DFO coordinates to zirconium by its hydroxamide groups. Crystallographic NMR and potentiometric studies have demonstrated that 4N-methyl acetohydroxamate (MEH) and ligand 42, each coordinating in a bidentate fashion, can occupy the coordination sphere zirconium, and there is a thermodynamic preference for the 1:4 complex. Structure of zirconium MEH4: light blue zirconium, blue nitrogen, gray carbon, and red oxygen. This is the structure of zirconium MEA4. Next point is PET scan of mice by zirconium. Hexadentate chelators that have been studied for zirconium coordination include FSC14 and THP39 chelator derivative for the gallium coordination. In vivo imaging with zirconium, even through competition, experiment indicate a thermodynamic. Zirconium-89 labeled THP immunoconjugate administered to normal animals indicated high bone uptake 24 hours post-injection that increased over the course of a week. In contrast, the DFO derivative largely remained in the blood pool, although some bone uptake was observed just as for 64 Cu. High kinetic stability is paramount and trumps thermodynamic stability in application of zirconium-89. This is the structure of PET scan of mice administered. The above figure explains a PET scan of mice administered zirconium THP trastuzumab top and a zirconium 89 DFO trastuzumab bottom. PET images indicate that zirconium 4 positive dissociates from THP trastuzumab with the skeleton of the animal administered 89 zirconium THP trastuzumab clearly visible before 3 days after injection. This is in marked contrast to the animal administered zirconium 89 DF4, but where the blood pool remains visible out to 7 days after injection. The distance between adjacent hydroxamide groups in DFO 9 atoms, FSCT, AFC 10 atoms differ by only a single atom. Three results suggest that among hexadentate ligand macrocyclic topologies can significantly improve kinetic stability and in vivo stability for zirconium complexes when compared to the open chain topologies. Next point is octadentate chelators for zirconium 89. Zirconium can bind up to 8 ligand in its coordination sphere. Ligand DFO is an octadentate or a synthetic derivative of DFO containing 4 hydroxamide groups. NMR studies of the non-radioactive zirconium DFO complex indicate that multiple isomers are formed in light of the combinations of geometric isomers that could feasibly form from a high flexible acyclic chelator. This is unspring. Next point is in the falling in the presence of a 300-fold excess of DFO. A DFO peptide conjugate coordinated to zirconium 89 quantitatively and retained radium metal over the course of 24 hours, whereas under the same conditions, the homologous DFO conjugate retained less than 10%. The increased stability of the zirconium DFO derivative compared to analog zirconium DFO positive species is possibly a result of the full zirconium coordination sphere in the case of the DFO. This is the structure of DFO 41. This is the structure of MEH 42. MEH 42 and this is 43. This is the structure of terapethylamide ligands. Next point is the dimicrobicyclic catechol functionalized tetrapethylamide derivatives. Dimicrobicycle catechol functionalized derivative 43 and 44 that coordinate zirconium 89 in an O8 octadentate coordination environment by the four catechol groups have also been synthesized. Both derivatives were zirconium labeled in quantitative radiochemical yield above achieved after 15 minutes incubation with specific activities of 1 GBq per mole micromole. One can both is a translation to either serum proteins or DTP over the course of 1 week. In the later experiment, the zirconium 89 DFO positive was not resistant to translation to DTP with over 50% of zirconium 4 translated to DTPA of after 4 days. Next is the structure of zirconium HOPO. An octadentate hydroxypyridinone ligand HOPO has also been developed with each of the four 1-hydroxypyridine 2 groups appended to an acyclic chain. In contrast to the 3-hydroxypyridine 4 group in THP, 1-hydroxypyridine 2 ones are known to have low affinity for metal ions. For a single 1-hydroxypyridine 2 group, this is 4 to 5 order of magnitude lower than the corresponding 3-hydroxypyridine 4 group. Crystallographic analysis indicates that the four hydroxypyridinone ligands are coordinated to the zirconium 4 positive center in a distorted decahedral environment. A bifunction. This is the structure of zirconium HOPO. A bifunctional chelator derivative PSC and BN HOPO has been conjugated to the trastuzumab antibody and can be radiolabeled at room temperature with zirconium 89, although radiochemicals have not been specified at the report. This zirconium 89 trastuzumab is stable in vivo in In a direct comparison with zirconium DF4, the HOPO derivative demonstrated uptake and comparable persistent in the blood pool, but significantly lower bone uptake. This is the result observed from the zirconium DF4 trastuzumab, and this is the structure. This is the experiment which is observed from zirconium HOPO trastuzumab. It will be of significant interest to the radiochemical and nuclear medicine and community to compare the performance of HOPO and DFO, as well as the other zirconium ligand platforms and functional for attachment to biomolecules. Next point is metastable lipophilic zirconium chelates. Designing kinetic liability rather than inertness into zirconium complexes has important applications similar to the case of copper 64 labeled BTC SC complexes. Incorporation of radioactivity into cells is important for tracking cell migration in vivo and has been part of routine nuclear medicine activity since the early 1980s. The early method relied on lipophilic complexes of gamma emitter with a half-life of 68 hours, most commonly the complex of 8-hydroxyquinoline 49, which are able to deliver 111 in IN3 positive across the plasma membrane of leukocytes taken from patients with suspected inflammatory or infectious diseases, allowing subsequent trapping of the radionuclide more or less inversely in the cells. Modern applications of cell tracking. Modern applications of cell tracking associated with new development in immunology and cell-based therapies place more exciting demands on cell tracking, creating a demand for PET imaging. This is the structure of zirconium oxynate. This has led to a similar approach using zirconium 89 and 8-hydroxyquinoline provides a suitable chelating ligand forming uncharged lipophilic zirconium oxynate 152, which is able to transport zirconium 89 to cells. Because there are no native transport mechanisms specific for zirconium, the radionucleotide is retained very efficiently with the cells, allowing imaging of its location and migration for at least 2 weeks. Now concluding its and now I am concluding this presentation that the radiometallic PET isotopes of copper 64, gallium 68, and zirconium 89 enables access to the suite of molecular imaging applications, provided that the radiochemistry that underpins preparation of these radio tracers is efficient and simple to undertake in hospital radio pharmacy. This efficiency is largely dependent on the ability of ligand to quantitatively and rapidly complex these radiometallic ions and to provide complexes of sufficient in vivo stability over the time period from injection to image acquisition. The ongoing contribution of inorganic chemistry in providing new ligand that meet these requirements, particularly in the case of zirconium 89 and gallium 68, will be critical to widespread clinical adoption of these isotopes. You can see this PET scan isotope of Cu 64 and gallium, etc. That's all from my side. Thank you.